Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast, where today we're going over NFL Week 3. First things first, make sure you give this video a like, hit the subscribe, give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There is the Stats and Stacks podcast. It's a pretty interesting week here, and again, I do apologize. I usually have a colleague on the show feeling under the weather. Feel better, brother. I mean, the show must go on. It sucks not having his takes because he really, really does kind of carry the torch in regards to the NFL picks, but not too shabby myself. So let's go ahead and take a little gander here, peek through it itself, and figure out the best fantasy plays as well as just the best way to win money this week. We have the Thursday night game this week. Looking at the looking at the 49ers. It says 10.5. Wow, this line just keeps moving. 10.5 point favorites over the New York Football Giants. 49ers are at home, so I understand this. I think that number is a little ridiculous, but I am going to choose them to win and cover. That half point has me interested in the Giants cover, but I mean the 49ers blew out the Steelers by that. We just saw the Bills blow out the freaking Raiders. We saw the Ravens blow out the Texans. Like, they are covering these huge spreads, so why would the 49ers not do it again at home? So we'll go ahead and pick the 49ers to win in the cover. Over under at 44. I like the over. I think you could have some garbage time with the Giants at the end. And I think the 49ers just obliviate. They just absolutely destroy the Giants defense to start. So I do like the over there, mostly because of 49ers dominance followed by garbage time. In that regard, fantasy wise, you're going to start CMC. Obviously, you always start him. You're going to go ahead and you're going to start Debo. Actually, you're going to start Kittle if you have him. You had enough draft equity there. In regards to Debo, though, Ayuk's hurt, and I don't know if he's going to play. So I do like Debo, especially in DFS. I think his price is a pretty good price in DFS, and we'll go ahead and just fixate on DFS like we typically do. So on a DFS standpoint, I don't know. It's a Thursday nighter, so it's not a part of the main slate. So we're just going to kind of move on. So season long, start all your studs and just kind of move on. If you want to start Matt Breida, you can, but I wouldn't recommend doing against the 49ers defense. I think Slayton's a pretty sneaky DFS play if you're going to do the one game slate, but that's about it here. Let's see. What's the next game? Sorry, ad started playing. Next game, we have the Tennessee Titans going up against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns are somehow favored by 3.5. Makes no sense to me. The over-under being at 39.5 makes sense, though, because neither one of these teams are potent offenses. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Titans. I like the Titans quite a bit here. The Browns defense is very good, but take it with a grain of salt. They're playing the Steelers, who have a terrible offense. And then they played the Bengals, who, again, Joe Burrow couldn't even move. So that's very, very questionable. Two questionable offenses they played. Is the defense that good, or are they just okay and they played really bad offenses? Well, they're going to get another bad offense here. But at least there's pieces. The Titans have Derrick Henry, obviously. They have D Hop. They have their defense, their run defense is pretty good. So everyone that ran out and got Jerome Ford and season long, be careful this week. I guess in Tennessee's run defense is not bad. Their pass defense is pretty bad, though. So you'd think, well, maybe Cooper would have a good game or Watson can finally wake up. Cooper can still have a good game, and I think he will, but that's about it. Like, the pass rush for the Titans are weird. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They decide to change every drive, it feels like. I don't know what's going on with this Titans defense. They're just a confusing team, and they keep fucking winning. So I'll go ahead and choose them to win again. You can't trust the Nick Chubless Browns as minus 3.5 point favorites. That just makes no sense to me. DFS wise, I want no part of either of these teams, to be honest with you. If anything, you'll start Henry. Everyone's to start Ford to save money, and I just don't think this is the play. I think he'll be fine throughout the year, but I don't think this is the right week for it. You can start King Henry, and that's about it, in all honesty. Next game, we have the Atlanta Falcons as 3-point dogs to the Detroit Lions. Over under at 46. I understand that number. I don't know if Amon Ra is playing. Sounds like he has turf toe. They won't go out and say it for whatever reason, but they're treating it like turf toe and taking all the turf toe precautions. So I don't know why they just won't say he has fucking turf toe. It's very confusing. But I don't know if he's gonna play, to be honest with you. And if he doesn't play, I'm scared. I think the Falcons suck. But I think the Falcons are the new Titans. They're not good at all, but they will run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run that clock out. And they have a running back that can make explosive plays and keep them on the field with that approach. In fact, they have multiple. You have the return to Cordell Patterson probably happening. You have your number one draft pick in Bijan Robinson, and you had your breakout star in Tyler Algier. All of them running backs. All of them capable of keeping the Lions offense on the field. Is Desmond Ridder? Fuck no. Desmond Ridder's terrible. Is he going to absolutely kill Drake London and Kyle Pitts? He'll kill Drake London. Kyle Pitts is going to kill Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is not good. It's over. Give up on him. You're not. It's over. Please, for the love of God, don't start Kyle Pitts in season long or DFS. But again, I think the Falcons are going to run that clock out, and I think that's going to be to the Lions' detriment. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Falcons to get the upset win. I like them here as dogs. Over under, right? I'm going to go ahead and take the under. It's going to be a knock. It's going to be a very rough and rugged game, and I'll take the Falcons with the under. In regards to a fantasy perspective, I guess you could start Jahmyr Gibbs. The Falcons are notoriously bad against pass catching running back, so if Gibbs is ever going to show out, it's going to be now. You can start Bijan clearly, but I don't know what he's priced at right now. If Amon Ra's out, if you want to get tricky, obviously people are going to want to try like Josh Reynolds or things like that. I'm not going to start Craig Reynolds in this matchup because again, Falcons get hurt by pass catching running backs, so that's going to be a Gibbs game. They have a good secondary. They have a good young secondary. With Terrell, I don't know. I'm not playing around with Josh Reynolds or at all. Jameson Williams still out, so they have Marvin Jones. Like, I don't like their passing game. I think Goff is going to struggle because no one's going to be open, and then I think when they go 3 and out, the Falcons are going to be on the field for another 10 minutes, eating up clock with all the run game. So the pick is going to be the Falcons. The bet's going to be the Falcons. And DFS, I'm only starting their running backs and calling it a day. All right, next game. We have the New Orleans Saints going up against those Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 2. That makes me believe that they're getting some of their starters back. I need to see it. I will choose the Packers if Watson and Jones are back. If Watson and Jones are still out, I think the Saints are live on the road. So I really genuinely cannot make a pick for this game until that factor is decided. Over under also impacted by that 42.5. I like the under, but you never bet a under when Christian Watson's in the game or Aaron Jones for that matter. So I really cannot pick anything here until we know. If they're out, I say play the Saints. If they're in, take the home Packers. In regards to fantasy, the same thing. You can start Watson and Jones if they're in. You're going to. Do you want to continue to do the Luke? You can start Luke Musgrave. He's always a good saving. In regards to Jaden Reed, I don't know if Watson's back, I'm not starting Reed or Dobbs really. Yeah, I don't know if Marshawn shadows. I don't think Vladimir shadows. I think he just chooses a side, but I'm not too certain. I'll do some research there. In regards to the Saints, you're going to start Taysom Hill. They have no running backs. Don't start Tony Brooks Jones Jr. or whatever the hell his name is. Jamal Williams is not going to play. Keandre Miller, it's going to be his debut. I think they're going to utilize more Taysom Hill than we usually see. So I think Taysom Hill is a play here. Chris Olave is always a play. I know he's going to have the Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas treatment, but you can't stop Olave. You can stop Michael Thomas. So I think they're going to stop him, but Olave is going to get his. That's about all I'm playing here in DFS. Next game, we have the Denver Broncos, who are bad for some reason, going up against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are 6.5 point favorites. Over under set at 48.5. I don't like that over under. I think I'll take the under there, to be honest with you. But in regards to the line, I don't like 6.5 Dolphins. I think the Dolphins win, but I think the Broncos cover. I'm going to go ahead and take the Broncos here to cover, not money line to cover. I think 6.5 is too much. Fantasy wise, you're going to start Tyreek. You don't care what the price is. Tua's like one of the number one quarterbacks this year for some godforsaken reason. You can start Tua. You can always do a stack with Tua, Waddle, and Hill. If Waddle plays, I think he was in concussion protocol or something. Something's wrong with Waddle, so keep an eye out there. And if there's no Waddle, I'm really starting Tua and like all of my lineups, or not Tua, Hill and like all of my lineups. Pat Surtain, I think, is the best corner in the league. But Hill is Tyreek Hill. He's going to do him. Mostert's a pretty good start here. You still have Jeff Wilson on IR. Achane's a rookie. I do like Mostert quite a bit here. He's actually probably the person I like most here. On the Broncos side, fuck Mr. Unlimited. He's terrible. Not even to save money. Jerry Jeudy still coming off of a hamstring. I'm not ready to pull the trigger. Cortland Sutton is dead to me. Andrew Troutman, I had in a whole bunch of leagues last week. I'll probably still do it as a money saver here. Dolphins not that great against tight end, but God, that's bottom of the barrel. Troutman to save money. Then God, they're running backs. I'm not ready for Javonte season quite yet. Yeah, not a good fantasy game. All right, next one is though Chargers Vikings. Whatever the over is, take it. What is it at? Over 54. Actually, take it. Doesn't matter. I don't care if they told me 64. I'm taking the over in this game. Neither team can play defense. In regards to the actual line, it's a straight pick 'em, even money. I'm gonna take the Chargers here. I think they're the best 0-2 team, one of the best 0-2 teams I've ever seen. Like they're very, very, very good. They just find ways to lose. Fortunately for them, they're playing the Vikings, who just generally find ways to lose. Last year it was an anomaly, and they made up for all their years of misfortune and won every single close game. This year, back to the norm, return to the mean, losing all these games. So it's going to be an absolute offensive shootout. The Chargers can't stop big plays. The Vikings, all they do are like 60-yard passes to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So it's going to be perfect. The Vikings just got Cam Akers. Do I think he's going to be anything week one? No. Do I think Madison's going to be a thing this week? No. I think you just stay away from the backfield. Just take the two receivers. You can obviously start TJ Hawkinson. In regards to the Chargers, Keenan Allen is on a mission. Justin Herbert, you can start. Kirk Cousins is a good money saver in DFS, to be honest with you. He's QP1 this year right now. That I know that for a fact, so that's concerning. Just on a league standpoint, that he's scoring the most fantasy points. Yeah, Chargers. Do you want to play that Joshua Kelly game? Because I think Eckler's going to be out again. I don't think he's playing. I'll play it this time. Joshua Kelly, I was instructed not to play last week. I did a little anyway just to get some exposure because of how cheap he was. It did not work out. But I'm going to do this week. I'm going to go back to it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Joshua Kelly, you get one more shot. One more shot. And now that everyone's pissed off at you, this is the week I'm going to play you again. And of course, yeah, Mike Williams, you start. Williams, Quentin. I'm not starting Quentin yet. I'm still just going to do Palmer, not even. Just start your main receivers for both these teams, and you can stream both quarterbacks, and you can go Kelly if you want. All right, next game, we have the New England Patriots against the Jets. Last one I said whatever the over is, I'm betting. Whatever the under is here, I'm betting. It is at 37. Jesus Christ, that's low. I'm still going to take the under. I think one of their games last year ended, it was like a 3-3 going into overtime. Like both these defenses are good, and both these offenses are bottom in the league. And nothing's changed. It's the same. It's Zach Wilson again. It's Mac Jones again. Patriots still have no receivers. Jets still don't have a quarterback. It's terrible. And their defenses are both still amazing. So give me the under. In regards to a pick, Jets at home dogs, I'll take it. Fuck it. I don't think the Patriots are good. I think the Patriots suck. I don't think the Jets are good. But I think they can do enough to win at home as big dogs, 2.5-point dogs. In regards to fantasy, their defenses. That's it. I'm not starting. Something tell me it might be a Dalvin Cook game, to be honest with you, for some strange reason. But I'm not trusting Ramondre and DFS. I'm not trusting any of their receivers. The whole start Kendrick Bourne thing is not a thing. Garrett Wilson, dead to me with Zach Wilson. He got lucky last week with that long touchdown. Not going to happen again. So I'll start their defenses. I'm gonna start Dalvin Cook. I have a feeling this is a Cook game, and he's at a decent price, and I'm not gonna start anyone else to be honest with you. All right. The next game will have a lot of starts. We have the Buffalo Bills going up against the Washington Commanders. Bills are 6.5 point favorites on the road. Over under set at 43.5. I think the Bills cover this over by themselves, basically. So I'll take the Bills to win and cover. And I think that over under, I'm gonna take the over. In regards to DFS, Brian Robinson is like the number one running back right now, I believe in fantasy. uh, I don't think that's going to work here, though. It's not going to work here. Receiving wise, they do have Scary Terry. They have Jahan Dotson, which is nice, but they're kind of like the Jets. Only they have a bad defense. Like they have two good receivers. They have a pretty decent running game, 1-2 punch with Gibson and Robinson, and they don't have a quarterback. They're this exact same offense as the Jets, and the Bills defense looked really good against the Jets. Difference is the Jets defense is really, really good. Commanders defense, not so much. Bills receiver should have a field day. Gabe Davis should return to form again like he did last week. Stephon Diggs is going to Stephon Diggs. I think we're overdue for a Dalton Kincaid touchdown. Dawson Knox is always lurking in the red zone, and Josh Allen should go berserk. I think Josh Allen's going to go crazy. So the pick is going to be Buffalo. The bet's going to be Buffalo. And you start the quarterback and all his pieces. And James Cook is on a mission this year. You start every single Bill. You don't start any Commanders. Next game, we have the Houston Texans going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Jaguars as 9.5 point favorites. Too much. Way too much. Over, under, set at 44. I'll go ahead and I'll take the over. It's in division. 10 points in division's lunacy. It in division just never works the way it's supposed to. So I'll take the Texans to cover, not to win. I'm not taking their money line, but to cover the 9.5. Even if it's a backdoor, I think it's just too many points for in division. But for fantasy DFS, I am not starting anyone in Houston. No one, absolutely no one. Maybe Nico Collins. I'll start Nico Collins. Or you can start Tank Dell. I started Tank Dell last week, and that was huge. I loved it. Um, Honestly, yeah, there's gonna be some garbage time, so I honestly don't hate Tank Dell here. Yeah, that's about it. Jaguars side, Ridley, I will admit that I was wrong, and he looks like he's gonna be a problem and a thorn in my side all year long. So you can start Ridley in DFS. Travis Etienne should be able to run all over the Texans. Lawrence, if it's not Ridley, it could be Zay Jones. If it's not Zay Jones, it could be Christian Kirk. Either way, they're getting the ball from Trevor. So Trevor's going to be a really, really, really big part of some of my lineups this week. I think he's going to go nuclear. And again, I don't want to start him and Etienne, but Etienne could have a good game too. All right, next game we have the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are 7.5 point favorites at home. 7.5. I agree. I'll agree. I'll take it. I'll eat it. Over under set at 45. I'll take the over, but I do need to know if Anthony Richardson is playing. I like the over a lot more with AR-15 in the game compared to Gardner Minshew. But either way, I think I'll take the over. I think the Ravens will end up scoring like 30, and then the Colts will score the rest. Fantasy wise, is Zach Moss going to do what he did last week? Probably not. If you have to start him in a pinch, can you? Yeah, I'd rather start him over Joshua Kelly or Jerome Ford or whoever other backup you're using. I think that Moss is probably the better one here. Um, I'm not starting any of their receivers until I know what's going on at QB. For Baltimore, I'm probably not going to start them anyway. I'd probably just play Naked Richardson and call it a day. In regards to Baltimore, Zay Flowers might be real, so I'll go ahead and start Zay Flowers in DFS. His price isn't out of control yet. It's on the way, but it's not out of control yet. Run game, is it Gus? Is it Justice? I don't know. I don't want to play that flip of the dice if I don't have to. So let's just stay away from their run game. Do you want to play Lamar? You can. Mark Andrews, always. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not touching Bateman. I'm not touching OBJ. It's going to be Flowers. It's going to be Lamar. It's going to be Andrews. And that's going to be it. All right, next game we have the team that I think is the worst in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks at 6-point favorites at home. I agree. I like their money line a lot. And it's my biggest parlay piece of the week in regards to NFL. I like the Seahawks money line a ton. Over under sitting at 42. I like the under. I don't think the Panthers score that much. I think the Seahawks end up winning like 30-7 and the under just barely hitting. In regards to fantasy, no one on the Panthers. I love Miles Sanders, but I've given up for now. I need to see it before I ever put him in a lineup again. And their receiving core and Bryce Young is awful. In regards to the Seahawks, Panthers defense is the best part of their team. It's not bad. I don't think he goes absolutely crazy. I actually think this is a Kenneth Walker game more than a Geno game. So obviously, if you want to be contrarian, you can play like a Lockett or JSN or something. But I kind of like Miles Sanders and leaving it alone. I think the under hits, but I think the Seahawks just handle their business and kind of cruise. Speaking of cruising, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, 12.5 point favorites, Jesus Christ, over the Chicago Bears. Over under set at 47. I guess the Chiefs could essentially do the over by themselves, is what it's looking like. I'll take the under. I'll take the under. Chiefs offense hasn't looked like it normally does. But I'm going to start some of them in DFS. Sky Moore is still a good price. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be in a lot of my lineups. I think the Bears run D is terrible. Um, yeah, I love Pacheco this week, actually. Pat Mahomes, you can start, but he's pricey as hell. Travis Kelce, you can start, but he's still a little injured and he's pricey as hell. I don't really want to touch them. I like Pacheco and Sky Moore the most, to be honest with you. Bears, you start naked Justin Fields for his running upside and call it a day. You forget the DJ Moore project, Cole Kmet, fuck that. Chase Claypool catching a touchdown. Who gives a shit? It's really naked Justin Fields, and that's it. Calling it a day. Next game is even more less competitive. We have the Cowboys as 12-point favorites against the Cardinals at home. Over under set at 43. I'll take the over because I think the Cowboys score offensively and defensively. In regards to fantasy, obviously you're going to start the Cowboys defense. They're going to go crazy. Kansas City also last game. I'm going to start their defense. And for season long, they play another shitty team next week. So pick up Kansas City if they're on your waiver wire right now. Cowboys won't be on your waiver wire for their defense, and they shouldn't be. But you can definitely play them in DFS. You're going to start Pollard. You're going to start CD. Honestly, you can start Dak because I think Gallup could have a game here. It could be you want to get really, really contrarian. You can play Jalen Tolbert. I think it's going to be to the point where he's doing stuff this game with the Brandon Cooks injury. I kind of like Tolbert a lot. This sounds weird. It's going to be a big money saver. I don't hate it. On the other side, James Conner is their offense, so you can, although it's the Dallas defense, you can start James Conner. If anyone scores, it's probably James Conner, to be honest with you. Marquise Goodwin, no, because Josh Dobbs isn't going to have a chance to throw the ball. So it's going to be Zach Ertz if you want anything, but I don't want anything throwing. I want James Conner dump offs and James Conner hitting a big hole. That's what I want. That's it. Otherwise, that's all we're looking at DFS wise. Next game is a Sunday nighter. We have the Raiders against the Steelers. What a terrible Sunday night game. We have the Steelers as dogs, 2.5 point dogs to the Raiders over under set at 43. I'll take the under and I'll take the Steelers. I think the Steelers are live. I think the Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league. Hopefully Jacoby Myers comes back, but we don't know if Devontae is playing with his concussion protocol. Sorry about that. I don't know. I just think the Steelers are live here. I think their defense can keep them in games, and I think their offense is terrible, but I think the Raiders' defense is terrible. So if Kenny Pickett's ever going to look good, if he's ever going to look like preseason form, it's going to be against these fucking Raiders. So I'm going to go ahead and take Pitt as the dogs and the under. Fantasy wise, I think you can play Pickett. I know there's no Deontay. I don't trust George Pickens. I think it's a Firemouth game. I think he can go a little crazy this game. He did not much last week, so I think he's due. Their running backs, I hate Najee this year. I don't want to start him. If you want to check out Jalen Warren's price tag, you can. I just don't really want to start any of them. I would probably just start. Ugh, God, like any of them. I'll just start Pat Firemouth. In regards to the Raiders, go ahead and fire up Josh Jacobs. Everyone's going to be down on him after having negative rushing yards last week. He's fine. He's involved in the passing game. He's involved. He's going to be on the goal line. He's everything to them. So start Josh Jacobs. And if Adams is ruled out, I especially like Jacobs. And I don't hate the Myers or Hunter Renfrow saving money. If you want to go that route, I have no problem with that either. All right. And then that takes us to the Monday night game. We have two. Sorry, it always throws me off when there's multiple. We have the Eagles versus Bucks. Over under at 46. Over. I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. It's in Tampa, which I love even more. Philly -5. I'm half tempted to say Tampa could actually win this game. I picked Tampa to win the division. I believed in them this year. I don't know why they were written off. Baker's on a mission. But I'm not going to get too crazy. I'll pick the Eagles. I don't know if they cover, though. I think it's going to be a field goal game. So I'll pick the Eagles to win, but I don't think they cover. And I'm going to take the over. I think this is going to be your offensive explosion game of the week. Unfortunately, it's also not on the main slate, but it will be perfectly fine on a season-long basis. Eagles, you're going to start Devontae Smith. You're going to start Jalen Hurts. You're going to start Dallas Goedert. You're going to start A.J. Brown. Start all your usual suspects, rushing game. I guess you can. I don't know what's going on with Kenneth Gainwell. I honestly have no idea. If he's out again, obviously you're going to start Swift because they just kind of gave up on Rashad Penny. So you're going to start Swift without Gainwell either. You're going to start Swift without Gainwell. If Gainwell is in, you're just going to kind of leave it alone and just start all their receivers and Jalen and Dallas Goedert. Buck side, Mike Evans is killing it this year in fantasy. So you're going to start Mike. You're going to start Godwin. You're going to even start Rashad White here. He's a good pass catcher, and you can kind of expose that with the Eagles. If you want to start Baker, you can. I think Baker's a really good streaming option in regards to season long. Eagles secondary sketchy, and they keep getting even more hurt. Their front line is good. They get after the quarterback, and Baker has a tendency to struggle when you're in his face. But if the Bucks give him any sort of breathing room, he's going to decimate the Eagle secondary. It's so bad right now. So I do like both sides, and I like both their passing attacks. That's it. I'm take the over, and I like the Bucks to lose but cover. Next game is the last game. We have the LA Rams as dogs to Cincinnati, 2.5 to Cincy. Over under sitting at 43.5. I'll be honest with you. I read a stat earlier today, actually, where it said the last 4 Monday night games, Kyler Murray tore his ACL, Damar Hamlin died, Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, and then Nick Chubb broke his leg. If you are a Bengals fan, you should be fucking petrified. Joe needs to sit because Joe is not okay. Protect the future. Rest Joe Burrow. Do not play him during this streak of Monday night horrific accidents. You're asking for one if you play Joe Burrow. I think we're going to see the backup. I don't think we're going to see Joe. And for that reason, the Rams are live. And you're going to have to bet the Rams now because if news breaks that Joe Burrow is not playing, the Rams are going to be favorites. The line is going to completely flip. So if you're going to bet it, bet the Rams now. Over under setting at 43.5. I'll take the under. The Rams have been slowing it down as of late. Kyren Williams is the guy. They got rid of Cam Akers officially today. He's the guy. Puka is that dude. Puka is fucking phenomenal. I don't understand it. Matt Stafford has nothing around him and is performing. He's a top 3 quarterback this year in fantasy, and he only has 1 touchdown. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with Stafford. It's a weird year. You can start all the pass catchers and not all of them. You start Puka, you start Kyren Williams, you start Matthew Stafford, your big 3. And you can start Tyler Higbee. He's always good for his price, and obviously season long, he's so many targets go out. I know Puka's getting 89 targets a game. But Tyler's still getting his. On the other side of the ball, we have the Bengals. It's hard to say because I don't know who the quarterback is. Even with hurt Joe Burrow, you're going to start your studs. You're going to start T. You're going to start Chase. You have them in season long for a reason. But DFS, if you're playing if you're playing a lineup just with the excuse me, if you're playing a showdown just with this game, please, for the love of God, don't start Bengals. Don't start any of them. If you want to start one, start Joe Mixon. That's about it. I just don't trust them right now with hurt Joe or their backup. It's just sad. They're a good team. They're nice guys. Just it's not their year so far. They always start slow, so they're used to this. But I'm not touching them for DFS right now. And that is NFL Week 3. It's going to be an interesting week. A lot of weird numbers, a lot of injuries to monitor. But at the end of the day, just make sure you do your research, get the news, and get paid, baby. Let's get it.